Being naive to the reality of the world and a lot of the things that I'm going to talk about in this video is what's keeping you broke and miserable. Most people nowadays are naive about relationships, male and female dynamic, making money, finances, real world education. People are naive. People are naive enough right now to watch Instagram ads and Facebook ads of all these newly dressed up in a different way get rich quick schemes, and they still fall for it. I look at people in my industry, sales, but in particular, right, if we're going to be more specific, real estate, the nonsense that you guys are being sold and you buy it. How many of you still believe Disney fairy tales when it comes to relationships and men and women, and you refuse to accept the reality of how we are as human beings and what we do, and hearing stories of betrayal and divorce and all that stuff? When are you going to stop being naive? I know we want to always be optimistic. That's fine. I'm not talking about being positive, negative, or anything. I'm talking about understanding the chessboard, the pieces, the reality of the game that we're all in here playing together, that we were born into, that we have no control over, and then moving accordingly. When are we going to stop being naive, put our big boy pants on, stop falling to all the shaming and all that and turning a blind eye and just saying, hey, this is how things are? And I believe that people, at least now, are in general becoming a bit more aware of it. I've done 2 videos recently, why I'll never live with a woman and why I'll never get married. And those videos are still getting a lot of views relative to my channel being new, right? Because most of my videos get 100, 200 views, and those are like at 1,000, 2,000 and climbing, right? But those are just little specks on how I believe people are being naive. Now, the interesting part is if you look at the comment section and the reactions that I'm getting, it seems like most people are starting to get it. And all I'm asking is people look and consider other possibilities besides, again, the things that we were sold growing up. Like, if you don't realize it, school and all that literally trains you to be an employee. And then many people have these aspirations to become an entrepreneur, and then they get sold all this BS online from all these guru marketers that they can keep that employee mindset, be lazy, not lift a finger, and they're suddenly going to be rich. How naive do you have to be to believe that? If you're getting an advertisement for build a 7-figure business and all you've ever done is a 9 to 5 and you've never been an entrepreneur, do you really think you're going to go to that event and suddenly become a gazillionaire with this one idea that this dude gives you? Like, we have to be practical here. Is it possible to get there eventually? Absolutely. I'm not here to shoot down anybody's dreams. I'm somebody who came from a failed athletic career because of injuries, reinvented myself, got into sales and real estate where the statistics are staggering in regards to failure rate. I made 6 figures in commissions my first year and I exploded after that. A few years later, I'm making over $1 million a year, and wow, life is crazy. But see, I worked my ass off to get there, and I was never naive about the amount of work that it would take to get there. I was putting in 12 and 14-hour days. The schedule that I followed to this day, I still don't know anybody, even though I've advertised it. I don't know anybody that followed it at the level that I did. And I studied voraciously, and I refused to accept the lies that I was told about everything. And I became very savvy, again, about business, about life, people, behavioral psychology, human behavior, men, women, dating, relationships, all of that. And it's led me to be happier than ever, right? More fulfilled than ever, more relaxed than ever, feeling like I'm in more control than ever on my purpose. And overall, when I look around, like, okay, I'm in a good spot. At the same time, I've been attacked and criticized continuously. I've been deplatformed and all that. But when I look at myself and my life, I'm good. So all that external stuff, I don't care. But it's because I refuse to buy into the narrative and be naive. And the longer that people stay naive, the more you're going to get chewed up and spit out. Like, it just broke my heart. A friend of mine told me a story, right? We hadn't talked in a long time. He's an ex-teammate of mine from playing basketball back in the day. Dude is my age, right? 40. I think he's a year older than me. He's 41. Come to find out, we haven't talked in a long time. I think we haven't talked in like 15 years. He's been divorced 3 times, and he's broke and miserable now. And he told me, man, I used to believe all the BS about relationships. He got taken to the cleaners multiple times. And now, between alimony and all this other stuff, he's like, I'm barely surviving. Now, he's taking responsibility for it, but I look back like, damn, that's sad to hear. But he admits he was being naive. I know other people, right, on the business side who are just so naive and refuse to accept that, man, if I run my own business, and I'm multiple businesses, right? Real estate. I have examples of all real estate people starting their own clothing company, people doing car detailing businesses, right? People who go door to door selling. Anybody who's entrepreneurial, I have 100 examples of the same thing, and they refuse to accept that they're going to have to work hard. They'll put in a week or two of work, and then, oh man, I'm not getting the result yet. It's so hot when I knock on doors, and when I cold call, I get rejected a lot. It's like, dude, did you really think you were going to step away from a 9 to 5 and then suddenly in a week or two start getting these crazy results? Again, are you that naive? And then instead of taking responsibility, they point the finger and blame. The lack of accountability is just appalling and astonishing. But it comes down to people being naive. Starting a business is a lot of work and difficult, and it will take you a long time to build momentum. I don't give a shit what any guru tells you. You're going to, well, Bryan, you do coaching and training too. Absolutely, but it's all based on the foundation of hard work and dedication. And I tell people, every single call that I've ever done with anybody one-on-one to sign them up, for the people who have wanted the call to sign up, I've told them, are you ready to work your ass off? Because if you come in here thinking this is going to be easy, or in a couple weeks or a month, you're suddenly going to be this badass, no, that's not going to happen. But if you're willing to come in and commit for months and months and months, in a year, after 6 months or a year, you're going to be like, whoa, look what I've accomplished. But you got to be ready for that. And you got to be willing to do everything that I tell you, follow the blueprint, and work your ass off. If you're not ready for that, kick rocks. I'm not going to lie to people. I never have. I went nose to the grindstone my first 2.5 or 3 years in sales before I ever looked up and thought about building a team and all this leverage and all this other stuff that people talk about. I have people coming into the sales industry, oh, I just want to build a team and do this. It's like, how are you going to build a team? You don't know anything. Again, you're being naive, dude. Because some random dude in a studio that he paid $50 for his mic and his fucking lights told you. Like, you got to grow up, man. It's not going to, same thing with sales and communication. You think you're really going to develop sales and communication skills at the highest levels in a week or two? Oh man, it's a lot of work. Absolutely it is. It's worth it, what's on the other side of it, but you're gonna have to work. You think I was born a great speaker? No, but I've put in thousands of hours in training. I've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on coaching, training, events, and courses and all that. I've done over 1,000 paid speaking engagements now, not including the free ones that I did. I've done over 3,000 videos on YouTube. I have almost 1,000 podcast episodes. I can just go on and on and on and on. I've knocked on over 100,000 residential doors. I lost count of how many it was, 120, 130,000. I've made hundreds of thousands of cold calls. I put in the work. That's why I'm in this position. That's why I can do this stuff. That's why I can shoot a 15, 20, 30, 40 hour-long video with no cuts and no edits and not make mistakes. And even if I do, I'm like, hey, I made a mistake, no big deal. I'll leave it in the video. But we got to stop being naive here. The world is profiting off you being naive. You make the corporations and the fake people rich because you're naive, because you refuse to call it out, because you, again, well, what if this guy's right? Well, I'm not going to listen to Bryan because he says work hard. Fuck that. I'm going to pay this guy 10 grand. And then what happens? You waste your money. Then you come crawling to me asking for a discount because you wasted all your money on some bozo course that lied to you. Sorry, I'm not going to discount what I'm doing because you fell for the bullshit and you refuse to take accountability. And now you expect me to wait on you hand and foot because you got screwed over by a liar. No, that's your responsibility, your problem, not mine or anybody else's. But we got to stop being naive. You got to start getting real advice and having people call you out on your BS. You're being dumb. You're being taken advantage of, like I talked about in one of my other videos. We need to wake up, grow up, wise up. This is why you guys need to be very careful of what you're consuming and what you're doing. You need to start doing stuff like this and reading a lot more. Pick up the book. Stop watching videos and listening to podcasts, because for most of you, 99% of the time, you're not really paying attention. You're just pretending that you're studying. You're not. Call it like it is. You're not. You're just listening to shit to get motivated or whatever it is. It's just a little emotional bump for you. It's like a little dopamine hit. That's all it is. Let's be real here. You're not sitting there with a notepad and pencil and pen and taking voracious notes. Very few people are doing that. And if you are, that's good. But you're one of the few people. And even then, there's so much more that you can do, because reading this, right, highlighting in your books and taking notes versus watching videos and listening to podcasts is much better. Very few people are in their car methodically listening to this and that. Like a lot of my students, they'll get on my coaching and then they'll listen to the stuff in the car. Cool, that's smart. But that's a small percentage of people who are doing that methodically and going down the checklist and making sure that they're doing everything. And oh, I learned this new technique, I'm going to implement it. We got to stop being naive, man. It's going to take longer than you think. It's going to take a lot more money. It's going to take a lot more work. It's going to be harder than you think. It's not going to be as you pictured it. It's not going to be glamorous. It's not a Disney fairy tale. All this stuff. I'm older now, so I can speak on these things, but many of you are going to get a harsh reality check in a lot of things. In sales, in entrepreneurship, in your dealings with the opposite sex and relationships and dating. Oh man, and everything. And health and fitness. And how easy it is to get distracted or fall off. And how much more difficult it is to stay disciplined. And then go against the grain and deal with people's shit. We've got to stop being naive. By design, it's not easy. It's supposed to be that way. But are you beginning to see and realize how the world and all the powers that you don't want in power profit off you being naive? Look at the whole thing with 2020. Doctors and a bunch of people and organizations got filthy rich. The rich got richer. And they pushed out the middle class and small business owners and medium-sized business owners. They crushed us. And we did it with this, oh, we need to be safe. People being naive caused that. Because if everybody spoke out, everybody used their head, and everybody realized the truth, that stuff would have been turned around very, very quickly. And look how far we went. So moving forward, we need to champion and bring back just being honest. I'm not even going to say cold, hard truth and brutal honesty. We say that for the umph. But what happened with not walking on eggshells, being able to tell people the truth? All that stuff is taking, the back seat or second place to, well, people's feelings. Fuck people's feelings, dude. That's how we're in the position that we're in. We need to call things as they are. We need to start being more direct. One of the easiest shifts that I make in salespeople and entrepreneurs is the ability to be direct when they need to. And their ability to sell and influence skyrockets because they cut through the fluff and they get the result. They get people to make decisions, they get people to say yes, and they move the sale forward. And then the person thanks them for being direct and honest with them and helping them move forward. Wow, what a revelation. But this is rampant in our society, which leads to indecisiveness and all the other stuff that we're dealing with. But our lack in that area, just to be honest and call things as they are, has led to the deterioration of freedom of speech and many of the things that we're experiencing in society right now, unfortunately. But we're naive. We're naive because a lot of times we don't want to stop and think and assess, hey, what are the consequences or repercussions of this down the road, 6 months, a year, 2 years, 5 years? So the question becomes is, we can't save everybody. But at the individual level, if you start getting better, improving, and more individuals get better, collectively we get better. Because that's what this is about. This begins that process, which gets us one step closer. So take stock of you in your life right now. Where are you being naive? If you're an entrepreneur right now, you're not going to figure it out on your own. Stop being naive. Get coaching and training, get the help that you need. Raise your hand, sign up for something, take the step. You're not going to figure it out on your own. You're not going to do better than me or anybody else. I didn't try to do that. I got help from day one. Hell, I got help in every category that I want to excel in, even before I got started. I had a coach in sales and real estate before I even started. I got them right away. Buying books every week. Every time I got a commission check, I'd buy more books and do more training and events and all that stuff. I gobbled that shit up. Moved to Miami, right? A little over 4 years ago. Wanted to get into calisthenics. What did I do? Before I even started, I messaged a bunch of trainers. And Bryan, right? Shout out to him. I'm still training with him right now. And I've made crazy gains. And I'm still nowhere near where I want to be. But I knew that's what I wanted to do if I was serious about this thing. I'm not naive. In any of these categories, I can go on and on. I'm not going to figure it out on my own. You kidding me? That's a foolish mindset to have. But we're naive. Our ego gets in the way. So many other problems. I don't have to sit here and preach to the choir. But stop with the BS. Same thing with many of you who refuse to put stuff out on social media, and then you come up with all these elaborate stories. You're being naive. You already knew the truth. You know the truth. You're just afraid to get embarrassed, or you don't want to go through the process of not being good. You just want to snap your fingers and be good. You're naive. You're letting your ego get in the way. You're letting that stupid voice in your head get in the way. Well, what you want on the other side of it, you don't want it bad enough. So you keep spinning the wheel, the hamster wheel. Boom, 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 boom. What is it going to take? But if you think something's radically going to change, or the next guru is going to give you the answer, right? I see that so much in my industry. It makes me sick. It makes me want to throw up. Because more than anything, what I'm finding is this is a flaw that a lot of people are having. They're becoming too reliant on other people and technology for everything in their lives. You need technology to go on a date. You need technology to run your business. You need technology to generate leads for you. You need this person for this. You need this person for that. Well, can you be self-sustaining at any level? I look at a lot of people in the sales industry right now. Can you generate your own leads without another organization? Because most people can't. So what if that organization goes out of business or doubles their prices or says, you know what, we're not doing that anymore? Then what? You have no business because you weren't an independent entity that can generate its own leads, regardless of what industry that you're in. That's the number one thing I teach people, because if you have that, you shield yourself against market disruptors and you become extremely valuable. Why? Because you can generate your own business. That's what you want. But people are missing that in the modern era. That's the foundational thing that I teach people and that I learned and that I adopted early on. So now all these disruptors and all this other thing, it doesn't mess with us. We're still going along and doing our thing. I'm not naive. I look at the market, I look at the world, I look at the chessboard, I look at the pieces on it, and I move accordingly. That's what you need to do. I take the emotions and all that other nonsense out of it, and I look at it from logic and reason. But again, you allow people to shame you and talk you out of it, and then you're right back on the hamster wheel with them, right back in the rat race, thinking like them, talking like them, acting like them. And then we suddenly think that things are going to change. You want to have your cake and eat it too. Well, I want to get better, but I want to keep my friend group. Well, I want to get better, but I don't want to wake up early. I don't want to do that. I don't want to commit to that. I don't want to lift a finger. I don't want to follow the schedule. Being naive, dude. Totally naive. You're looking for an easy way out. You think you can do it better. Again, it's wild how naive we are as human beings. And I know it feels like I'm attacking people in this video. I'm not, because I exhibited some of these stubborn thoughts as well, but I got rid of them because I realized how detrimental they are to your growth. But if I'm talking in this video and it's pissing you off, good. That means that some of these things I'm talking about are things that you're dealing with. And it's upsetting you because I'm calling you out on it. Good. That's a change that you need to make. When you're called out on something, don't get upset and fight it. Accept it and say, you know what? This person is right. I'm going to do something about it. That shift alone will absolutely change your life completely. Because then instead of attacking the solution and lacking accountability, you take it and then you move on it immediately. Then what happens? You get better, you change, you grow, you develop, you move forward while everyone else is stuck in the mud. And that's what you want. So stop being naive. It's going to help you and it's going to help the world. All right? We'll see you in the next video.